So Rick will be home. Should he join? Tell me yes or no. Oh, lip.
And you know that. Oh, I would say normally, sure, just to have him conversate, but you and I both know he's not going to have anything to share about any of the stuff that we actually are going to talk about, and definitely not Highguard. So he's going to sit there and mope while we talk the whole time. Yeah. What else are we waiting for at this point? We're just waiting for the info to go out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How much longer would you say that?
I think people can hear it. I have just muted. this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 2 for the Ultimate X Button podcast. It is me, Alex, aka the Slayer Giant, coming back here as host alongside my bi-weekly co-host.
Hey everybody, it's Paul. I'm probably the only person that will defend Highguard.
Yeah, not necessarily bearing the lead there, basically, at this point, but but welcome,
just
Paul.
Giving him a little taste.
Basically, at this point. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
double checking.
it's good to
Everything's
be here,
good.
Yeah.
How you been?
Man,
I haven't seen you in 2 weeks.
It's been a minute, huh?
Yeah.
It's really been a while. I feel like everything that I'm doing is just so different from what I was doing 2 weeks ago. I'm a new man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this feels so weird for me because like I've been basically going live literally like many days, like doing the streams and all of that, and it feels weird. Be like, man, the podcast is not, right now at this point like every 2 weeks, and I'm like, that feels so strange after doing this weekly all the time. Like how much happens. And I think you're muted. I think.
Yeah.
There you go. There you
goodness,
go.
I hope not.
There you go. I was like, because you're starting mouth, and I was like, don't tell me you're muted again. So that would have sucked. But yeah, good to have you here. We're like today was a weird one where all the setup that I had left last week for the live version wasn't there, and I was like, God dang it! Like I needed to like redo every layer, redo the Discord. Like, why is it like the camera is not showing, and any of that, and that made it start slightly later. But I think it'll be healthy to always say that we're always gonna aim for your 5:30, which is Eastern Standard Time. That's kind of like my 4:30. Pretty soon it's gonna be 3:30 for me whenever like daylight savings happens again. But yeah, like for now it's like still aiming on that. Still deciding on the whole bi-weekly thing. We're gonna still feel it out. It's but more as a me thing instead of a you thing. You're always gonna be here like every 2 weeks regardless, and then we'll see how this keeps on going as we juggle this podcast alongside all the streams that I'm doing and I keep doing just to do the usual rigmarole. This is the Ultimate X Bottom Podcast, the Slayer Giants, at the moment, bi-weekly gaming podcast that goes live around 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, God willing. Available in the YouTube channel, The Slayer Giants, as well as twitch.tv/The Slayer Giant if you want to watch it over there. And pretty soon on all the podcast services around the world, because since we're rebranding it, we cannot use the other feed. So we have to kind of like restart that, and I'm still waiting on the updated art. Wink, wink.
It'll work. It'll work out eventually.
Yes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you enjoyed the show, give us a like and subscribe wherever you're watching live, or if you're watching it in the VOD. So hopefully, let me see if the audio, the background music is not too loud, and let me see if I can lower it just a little bit. There, I think that's right. So Paul, it is time to catch up on what we've been playing, because it's definitely been 2 weeks. I want to hear from you. We're not going to talk about the thing that you let on, because that's going to be for slightly later.
That's what it's the taste that
Yes.
you got to give them.
Yes.
And say that we're going to get there to an extent, but I do want to start off with some other stuff. We'll work our way up.
Yes. First, we have to mention that we're both playing something that it's coming out next week.
Are we able to say like the name of it? Because sometimes we can and sometimes we
yes,
can't.
they've been really weird with the embargo for this one. We can definitely say we got it super. I got it super early. You get to play it with me because of our account share situation. And as long as we don't have to,
I help sponsor you. That's what happens.
It's in some ways, but that thing's coming. The thing I'll say, the review is gonna go live next Monday. Okay. If you know, for people that have followed me and seen the kinds of games I reviewed recently, keep an eye out on the kinds of games that are coming out next week when we go through the releases, and you'll get an idea of what it is.
Yep. Which high-profile release is coming out next week? I wonder.
Yes, there's just so many. But
there's so many. Let me tell you.
But that review is coming out on Monday, and the game will follow soon after. I have to double check if I'm able to stream, because I was able to stream the last time one of those embargoes lifted, so I'm definitely gonna check on that. I still need to
Are
finish.
you going to stream where you're at or like restart?
I am going to try to get a save right where the demo ends.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and then later in the stream, maybe just kind of show some end game stuff. I'm still debating. Again, I still need to figure out like what I'm allowed to say on that one, what I'm allowed to do. Like they're a little more cagey with the rules there, but yeah, there's some. It's a
At least
redacted
once
thing.
the embargo lifts, then
Uh-huh.
it's all
Exactly.
fun from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as ignoring the
the
redacted
redacted.
game that we have, I'll start off saying that I'm replaying Metal Gear Solid 5 for like the 70th time
Yeah.
right now, and it's a wonderful little warm blanket of misery. It's interesting to go back and like I feel like I've grown as a person that plays stealth games essentially,
Uh-huh.
and the mechanics are so good there that it kind of adapts to how good or bad you are at playing those games. Especially when I did somehow really well, because you know they do like the subsistence and the extreme and the no fail, the total stealth versions of some of the missions. And when I like walked through one of them without any issues, I went, "Wait, am I getting good at this?" And then I got really excited and I started playing some more missions. I still hate that development system. It's so drawn out, and it like I feel the padding more so playing through part of it now than I did before, because I like not this time but the previous time before then I wiped my whole account and just restarted from scratch, because of course you can't pick more than one profile and that's already dumb, but I'm working with what I got. But all the same, it's such a good sandbox. And it's so entertaining. And one day I'm gonna sit down and actually download some mods for it.
Yeah.
And,
What made you want to play it right now? Like, what was the thought process?
oh, what was it? Oh, you know what? It's because my next game, Assassin's Creed Unity. Um, I was playing through that from scratch because apparently it wiped my profile again on that. Don't know what happened to my progress, but yeah, I started through that and I really enjoyed myself. I remembered why I loved that era of Assassin's Creed so much, why it held such a chokehold in my heart, to where like I was making OCs, I was making my own alternate universe storylines in my head, making my own art of like Ezio and all the other characters. It was just that was during my DeviantArt days. I would go on like search up Assassin's Creed and go through all the art and like see what people made and their own stuff. It was a whole time for me. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Unity, even though the launch was horrendously bad, it's still such a decent game. The story is easily the worst part of it, but everything else I love so much.
At this point, we're so far removed of how broken that thing was, and that thing got fixed a long time ago, that I feel like it's finally attempt to not hold that against the kind of game that you can play right now. And I feel like the further we've gotten from that, and where we gotten with Shadows and like the RPG era and things like that, is like I feel there's a certain hunger to go back to the purity of that old kind of.
There's certainly a little bit of baggage, but I think as far as certain multiplayer like co-op missions and the heists and stuff that you had to do, which it's like really balanced for having at least 2 to 4 people total, but you can still load in by yourself, and if you're motivated enough and good enough, you can still do it by yourself, and then you still get the rewards for doing all that. Now I will say I accidentally loaded into the DLC because if you fast travel on the icon, excuse me, which is literally right next to your main base, it'll just load in the DLC for you, and most people did not know how to get out of it. I was one of them, so I just played through the entire thing. And that DLC sucks.
Is it that,
I don't
that
think
Kings?
I actually
Kings?
finished it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kings.
I never did too.
I thought I'd finished it, but I realized there's literally only one mention to, because they were like so hyping it up of like, this takes place after the game and it's gonna follow 2 years after, and Arno's older now and he's more jaded and we're gonna see what happens, and it just doesn't go anywhere. There's one point where you see Elise and like in a crowd, and it turns out it's not her.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just jaded. He's really mean to this one random kid.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep going into the catacombs. It
I
does
remember a
not tell you how to
puzzle.
get to the
I remember
catacombs.
a puzzle early on that
I
I
think
got stuck on that I was like, I don't have time for this. And this was back in
there's
2015 when I
so
first played
many
it.
puzzles with like the lamp and the lamp stuck. There's there was this whole part where it finishes the mission, but you're still down in the catacombs, and then it gives you the icon for the next mission, which is not underground, with no way to tell you how to get out.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just trapped there. I kept thinking that I'd missed something, and I was still supposed to like utilize this. No, you have to like activate a laser and then go out and then go get the key and then come back. But I was like, why
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't you just teleport me out of this? And not to mention, they like the same entrance is always this. The entrance is always the same for the catacombs, but they don't tell you where it is after the first mission. So you just have to remember that it's in a church in this part of the floor that's been excavated, so you can actually go down and go into everything. But beyond that, I mean, the environment itself is great as a concept. They have like this raider idea that they had where it's like, oh, if you kill the leader, the other people are programmed to like flee from you, which is like a cool concept. But the problem is they run like 100 feet away from you around a corner, and then they stop and then go back to being normal enemies again. So that was a little weird. But overall, going back to the good side of it, man, it's such a gorgeous game. The parkour is easily the best that it ever was in the series and ever will be, sadly. I loved how even the regular missions felt like heists, because it was this big grand area that you had to infiltrate. You had all these options, but you could choose none of them. Back in the day, I would choose all of them just because I was like, oh, I got to get all the content. But this time I'm like, no, I'm gonna figure this out myself.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it's just so satisfying to go through that, and then the two factions of
Mm-hmm.
the revolutionaries and the kingdom soldiers. You could like get them to fight each other. You had the regular people that would help you out. It was just a whole great experience. I would definitely recommend it to anybody who never played it, or if you played it a really long time ago.
Yeah.
The last one that I wanted to share was probably my favorite one and biggest surprise of last year. Is called Front Mission First, which was the remake for the Front Mission 1 back on the Super Nintendo.
Which, by the way, like, did we ever talk about the fact that you got a Steam Deck?
I might have mentioned it, but yeah.
Show
so
it.
Do
you have
anybody
it?
didn't know.
Do you have it with you?
Yeah, I have it right here. It's charging. Hang on.
Yeah, show it.
Well,
So,
bam.
yeah.
Got the whole deal. Yes, indeed. So I got this. I guess I'll tell the story for that now, actually, because I never actually got to tell the story.
Yeah, because this was like after we finally, I think we finished the last episode we
It was
ever
right
recorded.
in the middle of the Christmas break. Yeah.
And it was right before, if I remember, it was like right before the last stream that I did, which was KCD2. And then we saw there was like this random sale that was happening on Valve because of the refurbished. And I almost caved in and something screwed
almost
up.
did.
And because I almost could have done the pay in 4 and it didn't go through. So they saved me from myself, but you ended up doing it because I was like, that's a good surprise for it right now.
Well, I was a little sad because I missed out on the new sale for it, because I was still going back and forth trying to decide it. I didn't really know if there was anything that I was going to want to play on it. But I was realizing that my work gives me a certain amount of time during my lunch break, and I really wanted to use that to my advantage. Well, the new Steam Deck for the LCDs went over and it ended, and I was really sad about that. But then like the next couple of days or something, they finally were like, hey, refurbished ones are in stock again, which I didn't realize they were out of stock, but apparently it's been a huge deal that they just immediately sell out, and didn't know that at the time. So I was like, cool, I have like 5 minutes, let me go buy one real quick and get it ordered to me. Right as I was about to leave town for Christmas and hoping that it would show up after I got back. And then sure enough, within like 3 hours or something, they were like, yeah, all of those are now sold out again. So there's no way to buy the LCD. Also, we're discontinuing the LCD. And I went, excuse me? So I thought that I was, I think I quoted as, I feel like I just got on the last helicopter out of Vietnam, but in this case, I was getting into something really cool instead of getting out of it. And there was a little bit of hiccuping while I was figuring out what I could play, what I couldn't, and how the mouse works and stuff like that, or the trackpad rather. But overall, I found a couple of good games. I found out that Red Dead Redemption 2 works on it. I found out that a few other things on
Just
my
a quick
wish list
question:
were
Does it work?
verified. Yeah.
Does it work as long as you're connected online? Because
No, I can do it anywhere.
okay, with Red Dead, because I had remembered that Red Dead needed to be like there needed the Rockstar launcher to work,
So
and so
it does, and I really hate that. That's a thing. That's a good point to bring up. I've only done it while I was at work, and it was enough Wi-Fi for it to probably re-authenticate. Because if it doesn't connect, it will pull me out of the game and make me re-sign into my Rockstar account. Why is that a thing in 2026 that we have to
it's so dumb.
be logged in? Is horrendous. I hate Rockstar so much sometimes. Oh my goodness. Like we're out here making games and having fun, and they are putting DRM on a single player game that I have no interest of playing online.
See.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like that's
But
always been
anyway.
that's always been the thing that always has me like question the whole thing with the how much of the library is viable on the Steam Deck or not, because I know some of these PC games have been like built on those stupid launchers that are outside like the Steam like the
It
Steam
seems
store.
like some of the big name things, probably like your Street Fighter, because you remember that was giving us some trouble. A decent amount of Capcom games probably will do it. But I also don't feel like I've ever had that problem with like Devil May Cry, you know? Like Street Fighter gave me an issue, Resident Evil hasn't, and then DMC never did. So I guess it's more like most of the games that you go online and then whatever Rockstar makes for whatever reason. But that is the only time I've had an issue with that. Everything else loads up immediately. So then I picked up like there was this sort of lo-fi shooter called Celico.
Celico.
That look that one up. It's actually really cool. It's I'm trying to remember what it was like. Reminded me of, but it's like very pixelated but 3D and luminous lighting. And that was a lot of fun. I didn't even write that in here because I didn't play it for very long, but it was like it's kind of like a Doom light game.
Yeah, they call them boomer shooters. That's kind of like how
boomer shooters. Yeah, that's probably a good way to do it. It kind of reminds me of Fear actually, but just like a low fidelity Fear. And it's like a cyberpunk kind of vibe to it. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. But then I got Front Mission, and I was like, somebody explained it to me as, yeah, so you like Fire Emblem, right? Do you like customizing mechs? Yeah. Okay, that's just those two things put together. And it's literally the exact cadence of like an old school Fire Emblem game. You don't have to worry about people dying. Thank God. If your mech gets blown up, they eject out of it, but you get penalized for the money to repair and replace that mech. So there is a penalty at least, which I like, but it's not too punishing. But it's the same concept where you go in, you pick two different factions to play through. They're completely different storylines, I'm told. The first one was the original in the Super Nintendo version. The second one was a completely new thing. If I'm remembering correctly. But from there, it's like you play through a match. You have like your 5 to I think 11 is the highest amount of mechs that I've had on my team. It's a grid-based thing. You've got all sorts of like, not necessarily hazards, but each thing has space has its own cover. It's like forested or desert, or you're on a street. The different leg pieces that you use have different abilities. If you're on like sand, if you have tire treads, you can just fly through it. If you're on like a street, you can go a lot more on like the hover ones. So there's a lot of variety going on there. You can really specialize each of your people into like long and short range. There's melee within that, and it's just it really, like, it starts out kind of like not on the best foot because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it was a little slow. The map wasn't very interesting, but I see they were trying to teach you how it really worked after a minute, and then suddenly you're like in the middle of the city and there's this crazy overpowered mech that's like 3 times the size of any of yours, and the goal is to outlast him and
Mm-hmm.
not fight him. So you're having to like try to outmaneuver through the city streets, kill all of the other enemies, let the timer run out, and then he'll like get pulled off and do something else. And it kind of reminded me because that's how some of the Fire Emblem games were.
Mm-hmm.
I think Radiant Dawn had one where the like Black Knight dude goes through and he's just wiping dudes out, and you have to very specifically avoid him, or your character dies,
Oh.
and you got to watch it. But it's just cool because it's not always the same thing, and like the one of them is like, oh, you're gonna bomb a train and you have 5 turns until the final bomb goes off and destroys it,
Mm-hmm.
or you have to escape and do this thing. Or I'm doing one right now where there's a chopper going through the middle of the map,
Mm-hmm.
there's forested trees all over the place, and you have to find a route through to stop enemies from shooting the helicopter down
Mm-hmm.
while it makes its way across. And it's just, it feels like every other map there's
Mm-hmm.
a different like objective and unique thing to keep things going, which I really love because it's not always about like just kill everybody, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Do your best.
Yeah, makes sense.
uh, and then to find out that this is the worst one of the three,
Is it
was
really?
really surprising to, yeah. Everyone's like, yeah, no, the second one has like kind of a bad translation, but it's just has more features. And then the third one is widely considered to be one of the greatest mech strategy games of all time, and I didn't know that at all.
Mhm.
And that comes out in like a day.
Yeah. By the way,
So I'm trying to like burn through this.
yes. By the way, Rick is in our chat and he says that the corner of your deck was actually what took the last helicopter out of RAM. Before all the RAM kind of skyrocketed.
Yep, that was
Right?
exactly what I did. That was the last helicopter out for all of the RAM going up in price. And just like that, this thing is worth $600, baby.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
oh man, yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah.
sorry. Out of NAM, out of like
Yes.
out of what's you call it?
Well, that
NAM.
works even better. You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, my Steam Deck was the last helicopter out of
I don't
RAM.
know.
That's right.
Yeah, because that was the last one of the refurbishment. Then it never came back. So
There was technically one point that another batch was available, but it like left immediately, and that was it.
that's so funny.
My
though.
cat has figured out how to open my closet door, by the way. So
Is
every
there
once in a
is
while
that is that what just
she'll-
happened right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he keeps like pawing at it and opening the door, and so I have to like stop it.
Yeah, that is funny.
Uh,
though.
Anyway,
So,
yeah, so that's pretty much everything that I've been playing.
Yeah.
And then that last thing that we'll talk about later. But
Mhm.
what have you been up? You've been doing some crazy stuff, my guy. You've been going all through the Capcom library.
Mhm.
You've been playing some Final Fantasy. Remember the days when you didn't care about Final Fantasy?
Yeah,
When you were just like, I never really played any of them.
and then I played literally all of them because I became such a simp for them. But yeah, like for streams, like was it last week? Because I'm like trying to keep my timeline straight at this point. But because of the lead up to Requiem, which by the way, the last time that we recorded was when they were doing the showcase for Ari Requiem. You saw it, right? Do you get to skim
Yes.
through like yeah?
Um,
What was your impression? Like I tell you, it's like that. I was so
I never
hot
actually
and
watched the entire. No, yes, I did.
yeah.
What I didn't watch was Leon opening the cabinet door with his hatchet and everybody losing their minds over it.
Yeah, because he has like his big arms now, and
Dude's
that.
bulked up.
Yeah, that showcase, I was so enamored. But even though a lot of the information was like, okay, I don't know if you needed to do a showcase for this, but it's like just seeing like what they're doing with Leon's gameplay of like, man, this is straight up RE4,
I did
like souped
that
up
they
with the.
finally confirmed
Uh-huh.
what we were all theorizing about it. Like, yeah, it's going to do the RE3 thing where you're going to play through a portion as
Mm-hmm.
Grace, you're going to suffer, you're going to struggle, you're going to fight for your life, you're going to find a bunch of inaccessible items, and then you're going to get to Leon, play through that whole zone as well, just curb stomp everything, and then you get access to all of that stuff, or you can like leave things as Grace for Leon and vice versa. That's very interesting to me, honestly. I'm going to be terrified to play through any of the parts as Grace because I suck at horror, but
I was watching some of the videos because there was a preview embargo that lifted this week that people got to play like 3 hours of it, and they said the majority of the gameplay was with Grace, and then they like the beginning and end of the demo were Leon parts, so they started like with all guns blazing John Wick style, they said, and then at the end you kind of like retrace some of Grace's steps that were like all scary, and then you kind of like get a release of tension by having someone that is literally like so over everything at this point, like hatching everyone, like curb stomping and walls and all that. And apparently from everyone that played, they said that the balance that the Resident Evil balance of kind of like high tension and release of tension, that's always kind of been inherent to the series, but that's always been like the first half of the game was that, and then the last third kind of finally empowers you to have a bazooka and like and take out like the final monster, as you can kind of see with RE2 Remake. It seems like they got that balance working already, and I'm very excited for that. So as part of the lead up to Requiem, I did RE4 Remake, and I did the hardcore mode, not professional mode. I'm leaving that for a potential future stream, and even then, I found hardcore pretty tough because I finally realized that there's some mechanical imperfections to the RE4 Remake that they kind of like baked in, or because of the fact that you can move and shoot and all that. Like, I realized that I actually preferred the gunplay in the original. That is just a straight up laser sight. I feel like I'm always more precise, whereas in the remake, because it's the reticle that kind of like expands, and that I kept missing so many of my shots. I was like, God damn it! I wish I had a laser reticle for this, because like and the harder difficulty you start.
You eventually get 1 and 4 because man, it is a pain in the butt. I think I really do underestimate how good that laser sight aiming was. I remember really liking it in 6 especially. Partly because you could change the color of your laser.
Yes, and
really
cool. aiming on 6 is weird. That it's like it had the crosshair, but then had the red dot that was always kind of like blooming all the time. You could like change it just straight to the red dot, but even then, like you have to now more manually always have to like readjust instead of just being like guns blazing. It's them trying to be like, okay, we're giving you more movement, but we don't want to like overpower you. But I wasn't using that laser gun sight because the one that I think it's called the Red 9 that you can put like the little stock here is just it was the strongest weapon, but it doesn't have a laser sight that you can put in on the remake, from as far as I remember, unless I messed up. So that was a little bit of a struggle, let's just say, but it was still so much fun. I still love RE4 Remake so much. It was a fun time to stream. I'm still debating what I'm doing for the rest of RE because I skipped 3 because I don't like 3 that much personally.
It's just so short, and it's not really worth what you're thinking, you know.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't think I want to do that one on the professional difficulty. I was playing that just off stream just to have like a personal, at least I want to play it. Then I'm debating, should I do 5? Because like nothing of what I've seen of 9 has any relation to 5 so far, even though they're saying that 9 is gonna like touch on a lot of history of the series, and we know that the whole sum of Umbrella's origins are in 5. 6 is the next Leon one, and I'm like debating of like, should I rope you in and we play co-op that thing? Because the thing is, I've never fully finished 6, like ever.
I've only never finished it in that I never want to play Jake's section.
Yeah, and
but I loved Chris. Okay, I tolerated Chris's, but I actually liked Leon's. I unironically really enjoyed Leon's story.
I like the end. I like the end of Chris's because it ends in a very emotional way.
I did like that too. Yeah. I enjoyed the side character for him so much that I drew him in my sketchbook as like a reference study, and I never do that for characters. So that really must have stuck out to me at the time, but it's been a long time since I've touched
By the way,
I was living...
We got a hot take from Rick. Unpopular opinion,
let's hear it.
Resident Evil 6 is better than 5.
I could see it. I could really see it, because it depends on what you're liking out of it.
Mm-hmm.
5 is really a lot of the same thing
Mm-hmm.
for a long time. Um, I like 5, but it's never gonna be what I really think about when I think of Resident Evil. Because Leon is just too much Resident Evil for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To me, if we're playing co-op, I would go with 5. If you're playing solo, I would say 6 is more. It's more tolerable because the AI of Shev, especially now, if you play it, it's
6 is more fun.
Yes, and doesn't it's like the co-op is less intrusive in 6. It's a fully co-op game and has like all the jump in and out of. You can join the server of someone else if you have another player that joining that scenario where there's like crossover with the characters and all of that, but you don't have to take care of your partner like you had to do Shiva. And Shiva was
that's true, because you have to heal her and stuff.
Exactly. And Shiva, what I would do is I would always give her the like that electric stick and not give her anything else because she was always so trigger happy.
She was wasting ammo.
Exactly. So I was like, I'm giving you that stick, and I'm gonna give you some ammo. So
I don't like it.
Yes. So that's kind of like the thing. Like in co-op, I'm a 5 guy, but like if I want to play one of those solo, it's like I would rather play 6 now, even though 6 has like it's just too long and has like some baffling design decisions, but it can also be a very fun game. I don't think it's like horrible. Like I think Umbrella Chronicle, or like I don't know, Operation Raccoon City, I think it was the one that was called that came out that year, or Umbrella Corps.
We don't talk about Operation Raccoon City.
Exactly,
sure.
Those are the true bad ones. So so I'm debating on 6. And then like 7 and 8, I'm like, because they're like the last ones that were first person, I was like, when should I like loop those in? And so I'm still kind of like debating on that, especially right now because we're in such a. There's been games coming out, like Code Vein came out this week, but I was thankful that the reviews were middling because I was like, I don't feel like I have to jump in on that. And we already played Redacted. That's one of the newer games. We're already kind of took care of that. And Neo is next week. I'm not sure if I want to do Neo. I think the demo's out today. I might try it. Neo just curb stomped me 1 and 2, so that's why I was like, do I want that right now in my life? Not sure.
Yeah, I mean, do you want that difficulty?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
I liked Neo as a concept though, but because I really like the high, middle, low guard stances that you could use. But there I go, liking stances in the game again. But,
always in your stances.
Somewhere deep down is a latent fighting game lover that is just like waiting to find that game that I'm gonna go all out.
But the thing is that you do like fighting games. Like you do
a lot more than you do, but even then it's like I'm the casual compared to all of my friends that like fighting games. You know what I mean? I suck so much compared to them, but I could kind of like play the switch hitter every once in a while. Anyway.
Yes.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah, so yeah, I got to beat RE4 Remake. Like you can see the VODs. I need to find a way to. I'm gonna talk to you about like some thumbnails because I want to see if I can extract them and just upload them as normal videos too, so they can kind of exist instead of just living there in the live in the live tab.
Probably
but you
a
can
good idea because every once in a while Twitch likes to just wipe all of your stuff without warning.
Yeah, but thankfully I had them on YouTube, so I think in YouTube they're a little bit more permanent. But I can edit them for them to have a thumbnail at least. So
right.
So if anyone that wants to see how that went for me, it's there. You can go scroll down, as well as see like me trying to quote unquote speed run Final Fantasy VII Remake, which also in between the time that we last recorded, the Switch 2 and Xbox Series X version launched alongside the new Streamlined Options that they added that are basically kind of cheats. So you could have like either infinite health, infinite MP, infinite ATV, the limit break always on, double or triple XP, like all like triple gil and all of that. Just kind of like I mentioned, they've been adding all this stuff to try to make people going through Remake as fast as possible so that they can jump into Rebirth afterward, because Rebirth is pretty bad at onboarding despite the fact that they have like a story recap there. I tried that with my sister 2 years ago. Be like, does it really work? And she was visiting and I was like, play Rebirth, I want to see. She was so confused. She was literally so confused. I was like, that is the norm experience. It's like, and they were like, wow. No, you can jump in here. They were like, you can totally start here with Rebirth. You don't have to play Remake.
Ridiculous.
I was like, no, that's like, straight BS.
That some people, it's like they're going to play the new one regardless and
Uh-huh.
expect things to be normal. So I
Mm-hmm.
could see them trying to make it easier, but
Mm-hmm.
it's so difficult to do something. You don't expect somebody to be like, "Hey, I want to get into this show." All right, cool. Start at season 3.
Uh-huh.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's
It's ridiculous.
some shows that are more procedural, that it's not like fully serialized, like following a thread. Some shows are able to create those jumping on points, so you don't have to always like start like from moment one. Like the way the remake trilogy has been like set up is like that story is so, I mean, it is one story that they like carved out and are fleshing out, but
Mhm.
it's still kind of like had its own design, that there's like no easy jumping on point, especially with all the weird shenanigans that they pulled off at the end of remake, with like their whole, is this a sequel or not, a reimagining of the story and all that, that it's much harder to jump in. So I think Square really figured that out, that when PC Rebirth came out, Remake got patched with start with a character at level 45 and fully leveled up materia, so you can get quicker. And now they've gone further with it. Now you have all these tweaks to make the gameplay like faster. So what I ended up doing was like, could I make this into a Devil May Cry game with having
Mhm.
ATV always on, so I have like those abilities with me all the time? You can go look at the video. 90% of the time I was able to pull it off. I played through the hard mode because I had already beaten it, and because trying to do that in normal mode with a high level character was like super trivial. I was like, I hope that, especially since they're still kind of like within this, I would hope that they do something like what E33 recently did when they added some extra options, that if you go to like the checkpoints, you can actually increase the health of the enemies, because like your characters can grow so powerful. If you want to kind of at least scale something up, I think that
Oh,
would
yeah.
work. I think that would work to make some of these options like something more tweakable, because like I tell you, it is a different game playing in more like a full-on action game, and with even more better, because you have all the even more so than 16. The thing that where Final Fantasy 16 fails at is the fact that it's a great action game, but everything, all the hallmarks of Final Fantasy, like
All the
elemental,
cooldowns, and you
not
don't have access to all of your stuff.
exactly, and beyond just the cooldowns, the fact that there's no elemental like weaknesses or things to kind of like try to strategize more
Oh, yeah.
beyond
There's
just.
nothing to work with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like that is inherent in remake, and having the infinite ATV and trying to play it on hard, you still have to sort of exploit some of those parts. So there is still a certain strategy that you can do as you're spamming the things you have in L1 and all that. I got to beat that in less than, let me see, I did 4 streams. I got it. You can beat it in less than 20 hours if you're not skipping cutscenes. You just kind of like do a normal playthrough and skipping side quests and all that. And I was like, okay, this, I can see a way that this is a way that some people, if they just want to play through this first game without having to worry about difficulty spikes and all that, it's pretty fun doing it that way. And I was just reminded that FF7 Remake is so damn good. Like, I've grown to love Remake quite a bit, like that first part. And remember, I'm a Revert guy, but I feel like
Yep.
I've grown to like
I
appreciate
see.
the.
That's what I was saying. There's
Mm,
something about Midgar and
mm,
that whole vibe going through it that
mm.
really spoke to me.
Yeah.
And I knew that, like, I don't know, anything that people said about it was like just because it felt like you were just trying to get funneled towards
Mm,
the big part of the game,
mm,
but there was really something special in that part, and I'm glad that this really highlighted it.
mm. Yeah, and the thing is that the visual vibe of remake is so unique. I feel there's something like, I even noticed it even more now as I was playing it. When you're at night, hey, I can hear the cat.
Yep.
Yep. Speaking of cats and the side quest of the cats, the vibe at night in Midgar is so unmatched. That game looks so good
Oh,
at
man.
night, but then when you're in daytime, that game feels like it goes back 2 generations visually. It's so jarring. And Rebirth has
It's really weird, yeah.
and Rebirth has that problem where a lot of that game is set up in daytime. So I feel it exposes a lot of the visual weaknesses of some of the visual style choices that they chose by setting so much of that game like in like the times that it goes like in like at night, like when you're nearing the in Rebirth, when you're near the gold saucer, or you go to like the under part of like that corral area while it's at night, it's like, man, this looks so good. But then when it blows up in lighting, it's like that game, because that game blinds you with light in those like weird light shaft transitions. It's like, yes, like this could look better, but remake just looks so exquisite, well, especially at night. uh
Yeah, I mean, when you look up at um the discs above you, especially once you drop down into the lower slums. I think it was still technically daytime when you do that, but it was so covered that it was kind of like a Twilight vibe, and that hit so well. And I see what you mean, because like especially in some of the sunlight sections, Cloud is so freaking pale, man. It just doesn't do him any favors at all.
Any of the characters, like even Aerith or even Tifa, if they're like in white in full on light.
Barrett looks great in sunlight. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, with that.
But yeah, it's Costa del Sol happens, and everyone just kind of forgets how people look outside. They're not looking at the sun. Let's face it.
Yes. I am so curious.
Yeah,
I'm so curious to see how Rebirth looks on Switch too, whenever that launches. Like,
I'm really
I'm very
interested in
curious.
seeing that update happen for Rebirth, and then also to see how that happens on the Switch too, because the Rebirth is so, like, by comparison to Remake, Rebirth is really ambitious because of how big everything is and where you can go and how few loading screens there really are. So it almost makes me wonder, how are they going to make concessions so that you can actually play the game?
I tell you, I am eager for this Streamlined Options to eventually make it to Rebirth, because I would love to play with Infinite ATV with all the expanded moves of all the characters, especially with Cloud, that you can like air juggle everyone. It's so like, because you're seeing like when you do the dash and hold square, and then you can kind of like start floating with him and send them up, and then do the thing where you hold R1 and do the different D-pads to bring characters with you to start doing like synergy attacks and doing combos. It's like, imagine doing all of that with Infinite ATV. Oh man, it's like it's gonna feel so so good. And by the way, like something that Rick is mentioning, that the Series S version of Remake is actually shockingly good for like considering it's the Series S. Like the Series X version, like it's equal as good as the PS5 version is. It's like there's like no differences there whatsoever. It's gonna be interesting to see like right now the Switch 2 version and Series S version, like which are the lower common denominator, actually work really well for a game that was essentially a PS4 game. We have to see how the Rebirth version of those versions is gonna look. Especially because remember, we played launch era Rebirth, and the performance mode of that game was blurry, and you didn't notice if you played in a smaller screen. But if you played on a big TV, that thing looked bad on, like, not bad, it was like the beauty in it, especially if you played in the graphics mode. And the PS5 Pro version and the PC version are lookers for Rebirth. So I'm just curious to see when they're gonna launch that version, because the director for Rebirth, Naoki Hamaguchi, has been making the rounds, especially with the recent release of the Switch version, and he's so eager to talk about Part 3, saying that they have the whole thing playable now, so it's content complete. So
that's
it's
great.
like,
How much stuff is starting to come out about Part 3, between the title being confirmed. We don't know what it is yet.
Exactly, but they know what it is now. So
yeah, that being a big deal, the fact that it's playable, feature playable. I think there was another couple of things that we were hearing. We got confirmation on several things that were going to be in it. I'm mostly pulling this all from the Maximilian Dude video on it, where he's talking, and I'm just like trying to remember what he said, but it just kind of washed.
Do you read the one of the director is very excited for the live stream sequence? It was that in Max's recent video?
Oh, yeah. He said something about the live stream sequence and how it was a big deal for Tifa, I think. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm really excited about, and how much is left in the game.
Dude, there's so much. That's what's so funny is, like, I know there's some people that, and Rick knows what I'm talking about, that made the joke that barely anything happens in real. There was no story here or something like that. It's like, despite the fact that there's so much like individual story in that game, but it's like from big plot points of big moments for like what's left in FF7, they have so much left for Part 3. It's like so stuffed actually that I'm like, there's a chance it may be even longer than Rebirth. Like with what there's actually like actual moments that are left from like the original that we haven't even seen yet. Like it's like there's so much that can, and on top of whatever they want to add with the different things added with like the Juffy DLC, that they added the whole Vincent Valentine like deep I'm trying to remember. It's not Deep Throat. It's like, was it Deep Down? Someone correct me in chat. Like, or whatever whatever that organization was there. The Wise, where Wise is. they need to deal with that.
Honestly, I don't even remember.
Yeah, so exactly. I don't think you finished the DLC for Remake. You should play it. It's actually
Oh no, I
so.
never did.
Yeah, it's like yeah, you played it but didn't finish
Yeah,
it because you didn't see the
I'm
whole
still not a big fan of Yuffie at all. Like
deep
she
ground.
grew
Yeah,
on me
okay.
a lot. But,
Yeah, Deep Ground. Thank you. Yeah, so Deep Ground is like the organization that Vincent Valentine faces in Dirge of Cerberus, which recently had its 20th anniversary. Like, and Square Enix was celebrating it, and it's gonna be in Ever Crisis. I'm like, man, for such a malign entry, you're getting a lot of fanfare. You're getting like, I see you, Square. I see where your mind is at there. But yeah, it's like we got Kid Luchis in the chat says I need part 3 more than I need Coca-Cola. I agree. I agree with that. I'm debating on doing I never beat the DLC in hard mode. That might be one of my other streams because I'm in such the mood. Like right now, I'm happy to see that people are excited of FF7 again because it always feels like it's either shipping wars or the fact that it didn't sell or console wars of exclusivity and all that. I'm glad a lot of that it's like not like people don't care. It's like that thing's selling well. People are reminded that these games are great. Like screw the haters. So and it was good being reminded of that playing through this and now having that playthrough there for the channel because I kind of wanted to have it there as a posthumous thing. Even though I played it on PS5, I didn't play the other versions. I did try the Switch 2 version. It's really good. If you don't care playing for 30 FPS, that thing is very impressive. Like what they've done with keeping the visual fidelity of the PS5 mostly intact, with the exception of Cloud's hair. Cloud's hair looks weird. So, Paul, we got to talk about Highguard.
all right, let's go ahead and pivot into that.
Yeah. So for people to don't know, it's like Highguard has been like one of the most contentious like recent new releases because of how it was revealed as like the last big thing that Jeff Keighley put at the Game Awards, and then they went radio silent. And there was all this thing of like, why are they so silent? Because there was like a lot of negativity over how that original trailer looked. People criticizing that. I was like, these are the Apex Legends guy. Why didn't they just basically just shadow drop this like they did Apex Legends? And people are like, no, they're gonna do that again. That's why they're silent. I'm like, but they already announced it. It's like being shadow dropped means you learn at the moment, you start playing in the moment. You don't wait a month and a half. And there was like all this brouhaha, and then suddenly when we were getting closer to their release, they finally like they remembered the password to their Twitter account. They finally started talking more. We learned that they had like a big, very fancy preview event where they invited a lot of like content creators, a lot of them that I follow, that they actually flew to LA to play this, and even a fellow friend of ours, Travis from IGN, he went to that preview event too. So he was telling me about how it was like the super fancy like event where they gave them like a high per diem for them to like they were staying at this nice hotel, like they were giving them a lot of money and all of that. I was like, this is weird. Like, who gave them money for this? And now the thing's out, and it started fairly strong in the numbers, and then the numbers kind of crashed down like very quickly. Its sentiment about this game has been interesting. Jeff Keighley said he was going to like when people were playing, they were gonna apologize to him. I don't think people are are apologizing his hype, but removed from that, you've been playing it. I played a couple matches with Travis, who's doing the IGN review. He asked me to play with him, but I want to hear from you.
Oh, I've only played a little bit more. Maybe about 5. Really, it's probably been like 6-ish matches, just trying different things out, seeing what works. And it's really weird because on the one hand, if anybody knows me, I'm not much of a competitive shooter guy.
Mm-hmm.
And like Battlefield is really it's my bread and butter, but it's a very different kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Arc Raiders was the closest thing to a real like MLG gamer kind of experience, and that I don't even think was intended to draw that crowd. It just got really popular. So this is like the closest thing to like your Overwatches and all of your esports bait kind of games that I've played in a really long time, and it's fun. That's the funny part, is like from the basest level, like the bottom part of all this, it's a fun game. It shoots really well. Running around is kind of fun. I don't know what it reminds me of quite right now. But I mean, I played a lot of Siege, so I was really used to the concept of like Okay, cool. I remember. I'm thinking of like the big January 26th
Mhm.
video that they
Mhm.
explained how it actually worked,
They're big like
and it was like,
explainer Bydock. Uh-huh.
yeah. So it's like, all right, you're gonna pick one of four selected maps for your base. I was like, okay, cool. So that's like, and it's about the size of a small team deathmatch.
Mhm.
Um, the small team deathmatch map. I was like, okay, cool. So it's like a decent size. You're going to be using that to defend.
Mhm.
All right. Now you have to go out into the zone outside of you,
Mhm.
select better versions of your weapons. You have currency you can get. You
Mhm.
can cash that in for more ammo, more armor, or better weapons. Okay, cool. Good concept.
Mhm.
Also, you can respawn. Okay, even better, because I'm not a huge fan of battle royale games where you have like one shot, you got to really be locked in and that's it.
Mhm.
So you have me there. 3v3, well, it's a little small, but whatever.
Mhm.
You get abilities that can respawn and reset and do all sorts of crazy things in this. There's destruction in the bases. Okay, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Also, out of those four, your enemies are also picking a selection that's about the size of a small team deathmatch map.
Mhm.
Okay, it's just like everything together is like, all right, you've got like two separate Rainbow Six Siege maps. You've
Mhm.
got some empty no man's land in between. Do some stuff. We're going to draw you towards a part of it to get a thing, to do a thing at the base. And
Mhm.
then you can siege it essentially. And I was like, okay, this is like great concept. Um, and I feel like it just got co opted into this thing that it's not.
Mhm.
Because part of the issue, of course, is because it got announced against their wishes. I don't know if we discussed it yet, but
Yeah, we
apparently it
haven't.
was supposed to be
It
shadow
was
dropped.
that was their
They had
plan.
no intention
Yeah.
of sharing it at the Game Awards, and it was Jeff Keighley that convinced them
Mhm.
to go, I will give this to you for free because I believe in this concept.
Yeah,
And they
Jeff
were like,
loves this game. I
sure.
don't know, like he really loves like yeah.
I gotta respect it. Somebody said, they were like, you know what? Nothing's humanized Jeff Keighley so much
Mhm.
as somebody who goes to bat for a game that everyone else hates.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I get that, because we've all been that person to like a game for its merits, and then everybody else seems to really dislike it.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
to kind
someone
of go
trying to defend,
through,
like someone trying to defend that Mindsight was okay, but we're not gonna get to that. But
we're not going to even mention it any further than that,
exactly.
because let's break it down to the very core of it all. The issues that people have that are valid
Mm-hmm.
is that the 3v3 is not enough people to make
Mm-hmm.
this world seem full enough. There's not enough moment to moment drawing you in, because it blends the middle part of a battle royale game with a team deathmatch at the end,
Mm-hmm.
with the ability to kind of reset that over and over again. But at the same time, there's other games that have done this kind of concept. I mean, the entire, I think, Dominion match type of For Honor is literally this,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like basically a MOBA game, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
with like three capture the flags. You have your base, they have theirs, and you're working towards fighting it off. You've got some little enemies in the middle, which is one thing that I think this could actually benefit from,
Mm-hmm.
because there's just nothing in the middle.
Yeah,
But I
and that's
think
my
what
biggest
somebody
problem.
pointed out,
Mm-hmm.
is that if people are going to the right zones of a map, it should be causing constant conflict. The problem is that nobody knows where to go, so they're just splitting off into every direction to
Mm-hmm.
find random stuff, and that's not conducive to creating conflict in the storyline,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then it's just leads to like one team didn't do what they needed to do, the other team found what they needed and just curb stomped them in the third act.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see how where when both teams know what they're doing and it's going back and forth, you get a couple of kills, you get one base taken, the other team takes it back, the sword getting thrown back and forth from one team to the other. When the skill level is actually there. I've seen it where when you push them back, you feel this like sigh of relief and going, okay, I have another chance to salvage this. And when you come out of that, it's really good because it's a clutch victory, and it's not just immediately getting curb stomped or
Mm-hmm.
doing the curb stomping.
I would say
Let's see
that
the other issue.
I would say
Uh,
this. The first match that I played we were getting curb stomp. We got to one. It was because there's like the meters as 100 100. We were
Yeah.
0.5 because we did so bad. We were able to like hold on and get them back to what and lower the team to 5. So there are ways for you to not make like a curb stomp completely like a completely one-sided affair.
All you gotta do is outlast them. You gotta be patient. You gotta work with it. 'Cause the problem is that so many people aren't coming into this game with a understanding of what source all of these pieces are coming from. You have so many people who've never played like their Counter Strikes or any of the bomb defusal style shooter games, and they have no idea what they're doing. They're just running around killing people. They don't understand how to go in, defuse the bomb. You got to work with it. You got to be patient. You got to hang out. Actually, like nobody is reinforcing their walls. And it's just there's so many mechanics in this game.
It's a jack of all trades. This game, it literally is.
It is. It's so much stuff, and it's almost like a love letter to all of those competitive games simultaneously. But it's being thrown in front of people who have never played anything outside of Call of Duty.
And it feels like that because it's the Apex people who have that.
It's all the Apex people that are doing the one thing. It's all the Call of Duty people, and it's not even an insult because let's face it, we're older. Some people just haven't had the opportunity to play a lot of that stuff, and that's not their fault. But the problem is that so many people are turning the dislike of a certain choice into just like a blanket statement against the entire game, against the devs, against Jeff, and everything going on. So like it has absolutely valid criticisms that I think really need to be fixed, or it's not going to last. The problem is that everybody is hating on anybody that plays the game. Where I don't know if you saw that post.
Tim the Tatman, yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like he doesn't want to play it because all he gets are people hating and less people watching because nobody wants to watch it. And it's killing
or
the
they
game
don't want to be there because they
side.
see that the conversation that he has in chat is just literally crapping on the games. It's like, where's the fun in that? Like it's not.
I watched Aztec Ross yesterday, and he was playing it because he genuinely likes it, and I feel like his aura of positivity is kind of nice. But the problem is like almost every other response to chat was like, buddy, what are you saying? Like, this is ridiculous what you're talking about. Or like half the time he doesn't even say what the person said, but just based on him shutting them down, it was like just that constantly over and over again. And that's got to just be tiring after a while, which I feel bad about. But I mean, at first I thought just because of how big the game had to be and how much work they've put into it and the kind of people behind it and the year of post-launch content, I was like, okay, surely it's going to be in a good position. But man, if these few amount of people are actually playing this game, unfortunately they're also coming in a post-Arc Raiders society that has really latched onto its core audience right now.
But it's also lost
just
it.
not
like
finding
Arc Raiders I feel like has kind of
lost
fallen,
it
right?
a lot of ways. It's fallen a lot, but that's more in like it's just the same way as what happened to Helldivers, where it's like a huge amount of people were in and a huge amount of people come back for every little like update for it, and then like it kind of trickles off and it's a much normal amount of people in there. And like I mean, even Fallout Plays was playing the new update for the solo versus squads mode, which I don't know why anybody in their right mind would want to do that, but whatever. There was some stuff that they updated. They had a new event going on. I think they're teasing a new map soon. So there's a few things that brought some people back for that. I'm still kind of burnt out on it right now myself, but
and I think a lot of people are too, because like they're either burnt out and the fact that they don't have like a great roadmap also of excitement. So it feels like a lot of people have finally cooled off on Arc Raiders. That's why like right now Marathon feels so lucky that now people are actually feeling excited for them, because I don't know if you see that every time the Marathon puts out a new Vidoc and a new like
there's a
show,
lot more people getting into it.
Exactly, and I feel like
I am shocked that they waited just long enough for the really big hype to cool off on everything else to turn their entire PR situation around 180. I'm really impressed with it.
But that's Bungie though. That like how many times has Destiny done that? Like with their
Oh
with
my
like their
gosh.
with their Vidocs
It's
and all
so
of that.
over and we're so back. It
Uh
just, you are on a wheel that rotates constantly.
yeah.
And sure enough, Marathon is not an exception to that.
Yeah, it's so funny how that how they already went through their Taken King arc and the game is not even out, and I mean like they survived the big art plagiarism scandal because when that happened, the whole art theft will make me god meme was started, or the art raiders meme was
Yeah.
happening with them. It was like there's no way they're gonna recover from this. When arc raiders was like literally was like, oh my god, it's like arc raiders now has it because like they're gonna be the first to market and all that, and now they feel like, oh man, it's like I guess now people know they like extraction shooters and they're already kind of getting bored because people's attention spans are so bad now they can swoop in as the second guy, be like, hey, we're here and we're first person, we're technically more competitive than a third person one. So it's gonna be like, that's gonna be interesting when we see how that does for Marathon in a month, like around a month from now. And and not only that, like I'm wonder what's gonna happen to Highguard right now, because like Highguard does the thing that, why does this happen to some live service games that they have their plan ready but then people don't like it, so it's like crap. It's like, but you had your plan ready, because you know what other game had a live service roadmap for the next year? Suicide Squad. And we know how that happened, like how that went. It's like
They at least played out most of it, I think, right? Or did they cancel something?
No, they literally sort of played it all out and then sort of canceled their final plans near the end to just kind of like just
Gotcha.
wash their hands and get over it. But they mostly went there. Concord also had like at least a 6-month roadmap, and that didn't make it 3 weeks. So it's like, and then some games that people really like don't have roadmaps. Like that's kind of like what's so funny. Yeah, so it's like
I think that's the crazy part with just like how like the moment to moment is fun to me at least, but it's also
in
it's
Highguard.
pretty simple, and and it's also repetitive, and it really is like the problem I see, because I'm comparing it to launch Apex Legends. They
Apex was
probably
a
had
much better
about
game.
this-
Yeah, Apex was like,
for sure.
it's like infinitely
Don't get
better
me
game.
wrong on that. I was just trying to think about what I felt when I played it, because I remember going on record going, man, this game's gonna die because it's not Titanfall 3. And here we are. Obviously I was wrong, but I think another thing I was thinking about is they had so much variety in that, and it was all about collecting not just the different weapons, because you started with nothing. You had different armor types, weapon types, ammo types. And this one has like maybe a third of any of that. There's no weapon types at all.
The weapons look kind of generic. I mean, we're showing the video.
They
like,
are a lot.
Yeah.
I really like the animations for it, and I really like some of them with how they operated. But the problem is, once you start pulling the trigger, it's normal. It's all identical. There's barely any recoil for the weapons. I like the concept, and I get it for sure, and I really like the design of the weapons. But I see why people are a little let down with the concept of, well, it's like they're all arcane wardens, it's fantasy stuff. I think a lot of people take that and think, why didn't you put some of that into the interesting side? Like you look at Destiny, you have that one exotic trace rifle that's literally like a wizard's staff with some stuff bolted to it, and everyone's like, where's that kind of stuff? And I hear what they say in the dev direct, where they were like, we really know what we like, and we like mechanical guns, the pieces and the parts, the way they fit together. And I was like, yes, 100%. But also, why would you do a fantasy game?
Yeah.
I'll
say this: the fantasy,
it's almost unwinnable.
Like the fantasy thing was the thing that I was like, that's an interesting concept, doing like a shooter in a fantasy setting, because like, what else is doing that? And Skill Up made the joke that it's like this could have been the multiplayer for Immortals of Avium. I'm like, I could kind of see that in some way.
Even though I like the weapons for this more than Immortals of Avium.
Avium had none; it was just magic.
I hated those weird looking gauntlets. That was weird, but yeah, it's the same concept. Like this could have been a part of something bigger, and it just isn't. And I feel really sad that we just don't get any of that. Funny enough, I played Witchfire. That was one of the first games I played on Steam Deck.
Yeah, because like, it's still on early access, right?
Yes. Great concept. it kind of faltered with its repetitiveness, because the whole idea is you're loading into an island. There's like 5 of them, and you have the choice of 2 main guns and a special gun that uses like demon ammo, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the BFG basically kind of level of things, and I'm getting to use that now to share because it's gonna tie back into Highguard,
Mm-hmm.
because they use the perfect blend of real guns with an arcane twist to
Mm-hmm.
most of them. They each have like a passive ability, like your revolver. It has these cool little glowing crosses on the end of the bullets, and it's literally the Ace of Spades from Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
You get headshots, you reload the gun, and then it supercharges your shots of however many headshots you got before you reloaded. Same thing for, they have like an SMG, and it's got like its own little weird steampunky vibes to it. But it's like the Risk Runner, where you get like a kill
Mm-hmm.
and then it spreads to the others and does its thing. It's basically that for a lot of other things. Yada yada. There's like 20 weapons or something
Mm-hmm.
as you build up. I think that's what this game could have used, where like each one,
Mm-hmm.
it says that they have passive abilities, but the problem is when you get to higher rarities,
Mm-hmm.
literally all it does is it gives you more bullets and like faster movement and whatever like that, but it's all like the boring kind of passives. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I think that's what this game needed, to really like push itself, to make you want to explore and find these different weapons and the varieties of them, because as it is right now, there's nothing to me
Mm-hmm.
that looks different or feels different from my white gun that I start the match with,
Mm-hmm.
compared to like my purple one at the end usually.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's better, but it doesn't feel better to me, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. I think that's what we really need out of that kind of game. Just some of that variety that I think a lot of people were looking for out of an environment like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as it stands right now, the problem is the internet got their teeth sunk into it so badly.
Mm-hmm.
They need to outlast that hatred until all of the vitriolic people move on to hating on the next thing.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
people are so desperate for the next Concord. That's what's so funny. That it's like people
They
probably
really are. They,
yeah people,
oh
people
gosh, they
probably
smell
enjoy
blood.
it. Yeah, people enjoyed so much seeing a game just a game that people didn't like at all when they first saw it just crash and burn that quickly, that people are just now fiending, like absolutely fiending for another disaster like that. And it's like, to me, it's like, it's so sad that that's kind of like where we are, where it's like, to me, it's like, I don't think Highguard is great, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's right now in this in this state of, there's good stuff, there's okay stuff. I hope they eventually get it. I want to see like the things that they put in the roadmap are actually promising, of more maps, probably more modes. I want to see what a different mode for this game can do, because I'm like, gosh, I wish there was a way to do maybe like a more robust, like maybe 6v6 like match, maybe 8v8. Like
The
the maps are
craziest thing
the
is
map's
they
so
say they
big.
tried
Yeah.
like 4 and 5, and they said that it wasn't as fun, and I cannot believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe it
I
either.
cannot.
Yeah, I
I
refuse to believe
only
it for the
think that
size.
it
Yeah.
makes it more functional for them with all of the mechanics going on. But like, can you imagine how much more there would be happening in that map at any one time if you had any chance of running it across 5 different people?
Hmm.
I
The
can see it being
looting,
super unbalanced.
yeah, the looting side of this game is so boring,
But,
because you're like
yeah.
going in that middle section of the map, like
Mhm.
getting all these rarities. That's the thing. Like the rarity is like the same for almost everyone, depending on the round that you are. That it's like it's like there's nothing exciting. It's like the excitement. Like, I see where the balance is once you get to the siege right at the end, and then you start fighting. It's like, okay, because it feels enclosed. I get it here. The problem is that because you have this sort of MOBA thing in the middle, where it's like there's so much empty space, that is like, that part, it just feels like so bad. And kind of like what Rick is saying here in chat, a 3v3v3v3 like could work too. It's like, you don't need to. Yes, it's like
The-
that's
give
part
it
of
the
the
finals.
exactly. It's like that, especially for the size, that could have happened. Like you have like those three teams. Imagine someone then suddenly like you have another team of like horses flanking you from the side as they're trying to get like the big sword that starts the siege and all that. It's like the possibilities for like a bigger mode are there, and I refuse to believe that like the best thing that they could come up with was just a 3v3 for this size. That I do not believe, and the fact that that's been so common for everyone that's played it now is like, I don't know why they were like stubborn that way. I've been like, this is the only thing that worked. It's like, no, my guy. It's like, especially I see the bones of where this thing was built. You could have done more players. Like you absolutely could have, especially because there's so much there's so much to the core that is good. I like the gunplay. I like the different abilities from like the different heroes, and they feel distinct enough that I say, okay, there's some great gameplay modifications you can do based on who does which hero character here. That is the kind of gameplay that can like sustain a kind of game like this. The problem is that it has all this fluff in the middle. That is where they really need to kind of like hone in and just kind of suck it up and be like, okay, maybe show us. To put out those modes with bigger people. Let us, the player, feel it. Especially you didn't beta test this, so we're only taking your word from it. So it's like
I think the best example of that was how Aztec Ross was talking about. He said, remember in Trials of Osiris, everyone said put 4v4, and so they said, all right, we're gonna do a temporary 4v4, and everyone immediately went, no, you were right, this is a horrible idea.
Exactly.
But that is like how you communicate and go, here's the option, try it out, see what's gonna happen, and then make your decision. I think that they were wrong about this one because of what it is, or they just need to cut down on the size of these maps.
Yeah, it almost feels like they built the maps.
I don't know what.
Yeah, it's like they built these maps specifically for the use of the horse more than like the matches themselves. That's like the only explanation.
And I like the concept of the mobile side of it, where you're just zipping around there. You're flying. I almost feel like the horse needs a double jump. Just like I want to get
like Torrents,
around here.
Kind of like Torrents from Elden Ring. Yeah.
I think most of this could actually be fixed if when the second the reinforcement stage ends, the sword is already formed. So then you have to choose, am I going to go for the sword or am I going to go loot? So then you have to choose. And then if you don't choose right, the other team's going to be at your gate in like 40 seconds. And then, bam, you're right back into
you know what's the worst part of all this? Like, it has like the downtime of a battle royale, but this is not a battle royale. That's kind of like the irony. It has like, because you're not a BR, you should have a little bit more excitement like all the time, because that's kind of like this kind of gameplay demands a little bit more activeness, like a little bit more like engagement, and it can be engaged. Like once you're in the siege, I've had some nail biters. I'll certainly say that is like there's some really exciting ways that the combat can go as you're trying to like plant the bomb into the thing, or you're the one that are defending and getting into a kill streak when you can like kill all three of them back to back with like your ability and like holding someone with your ability and like just like have like your super fast shotgun and killing it. It's like there's some really great moments when that happens, and it's like there's 20% of a really great game here, like buried by 80% of a really blah game. That's kind of how it
I
feels.
think the percentage for me is a little bit closer to like a 50-50. I'm gonna dare say it, but I think just everybody has focused so much on the negative. Because there's really something special here, and I keep saying that for so many games, but because there is, there's so much cool stuff here. I really like everyone says the heroes are bland, but I really
no,
like
they're not. They're great. They're great.
I like what they do. I love the destruction of not just the walls, but like in the clip that we just watched, there was a chest that was wooden. They just shot it up to get the stuff out of it real fast and kept moving. There's a lot going for it here that I really like, and I'm convinced that if people just gave it that chance to experience each mechanic and understand how it works, we'd just not have this issue. But the problem is, a game like this, I think, you know what? That's the other part.
It needed to be early access.
People to have. Probably so. But I think I just realized one of the other issues that's a catch-22 here is we as the audience want more bigger lobbies, but there's nobody on the game to play.
Yeah.
So they literally might not be able to add more people without allowing like I don't know how to say it outside of there's just no way to actually give people what they want because there's no
Mm-hmm.
people to play the game.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel this is
yeah,
like the thing that I have to give them is like credit to them for at least trying something different. There is like you can see the things that is like, oh, I can see this from Rainbow Six Siege, I can see this from Apex and all of that, but you don't have a game that is a literal like facsimile to this. So it's like there is something very unique here. So they deserve a credit because at least, hey, I'm glad that someone is not just doing another hero shooter. That was the problem with Concord. Concord literally was just let's do a hero shooter, and our differentiate factor is that it's the PlayStation way. So high fidelity cinematics, high fidelity character, even though those character models
it's
sucked.
just Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, it was, but it was the Timu like Wish version of
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I still think that there was something there, and they should have really given it a shot with all that money they wasted.
Yeah, there was
They
like
might as well just let
yeah.
it play out. I think there would have been a core fan base that would
I
have
tell you,
loved
there was like a comic book style like version of the characters within the game, within the lore, that was like this should have been the art. Like these characters look so much better in this art style instead of like the photorealistic thing that happened with Concord. But it's like I feel like credit to Highguard to at least trying something. I also feel like this is also a good example of like we live in this era where you probably need to like probably massage like what it is like in an early access, like try to keep it more low key and be like, hey, we want to really try something here, but come join us, let's test this all together. That's what early access is, like, because big credit, like Battlefield ended up doing that with the Battlefield Labs. It'd be like, we're building this with you now because like obviously we think we know, but we probably don't know. Sometimes players do know. You have to kind of keep that balance, and this feels like they had a cool idea, but it feels like they had a we know better than you. And I feel a lot of people have already given a like better suggestion of what they see they could have seen from this game that would have made them enjoy it more. That I'm like, I understand the idea of trying to launch a 1.0 just like that. Like you missed the shadow drop by announcing it at the Game Awards, by letting yourself be bamboozled by Jeff Keighley. Be like, yeah, it's like, I like your game, let's put it here. And they're like, yeah, it's free. All marketing is free marketing. But it's like, I feel like a different version would have been, yeah, an early access. And at the very least, and at that moment, like an early access, like shadow drop that early access and be like, hey, we're trying something here, let's test it and see where we can go. I feel that would have done this game better. The fact that this got the biggest spotlight, like time at the gamer, because that's the problem. Is like near the end of the Game Awards, the one last thing is the biggest spotlight in viewership and like in crescendo. So the fact that this was the game that got that,
really bad that they did this. They should have just thrown it in the middle. Jeff should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
Of like, all right, I'm just gonna give him a spot here, but not the end spot.
Yeah, Divinity should have. Yeah, Divinity should have been the end. Like I don't care. Like Divinity should have been like that final slot anyway. To me, like now that we know this, because this just put like too much unrealistic expectation. Yes, he's still gonna keep championing this. Like I hope, let's see, like that doesn't like blow in his face. The more the player base just keeps cratering based on like what I've seen. I want to see how this thing does in the weekend, because obviously we're playing during the week. But yeah, Highguard, I'm hoping it doesn't just fail. I would hate for that to happen, but
I really needed to have a comeback.
And I always like, and I hate that we always have to do that. And kind of like what Rick is saying in chat, Fate of the Old Republic would have been a great spot too at the end. Like the fact that Jeff just front loaded his show with this, and poor Highguard just got kind of like the one more thing slot. And Nova Founder in our chat says like maybe Jeff secretly hates someone at that studio, just a sociopathic vendetta. That would be so funny. that would be like so funny if that's exactly what happened. That is like, it's a secret. I want to help you, but it's a secret like backstab. Like. It was one of those internet trolls. I doubt it, but it's just, I think Jeff genuinely like we have to remember, like Jeff was a big Titanfall fan. He wrote like what he did like an entire like a profile on Respawn Entertainment before the game came out.
So tone deaf that you went through this whole process, you did this, and like it should have been like he should have worked more with them on like, hey, listen, this thing's gonna come out, but like they're not going to share anything else. I don't know. He should have gone to bat to help them and explain any of it. Or it feels like he brought this thing out to die. And it's all his fault
Yeah.
that this is playing out exactly this way.
Now, if it has Shadow Drop at the Game Awards, maybe a different story.
Oh,
Yeah.
different story
Mhm.
entirely. People would have gone like, okay, let's check this out. Let's try it out. We're riding the high of the Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Let's rock.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, it wasn't ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, Jeff, you need to talk to these people and see what's even possible before you set them up to fail like this. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
come on, man.
Yeah.
It almost makes me mad for them on their behalf here.
Yeah, because it's a talented
I'm
team.
just watching this, and it makes me want to play this game, and all I know is that nobody's going to give it a shot because the internet is the internet, and we live in a hellscape.
Yep, that's exactly where we are, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll still keep playing it. Right now, we don't have anything like new else to play. So it's like I know that people. I've been seeing that the more people have played it, the more people have liked it. Now that they kind of like understand it more. So I'm hoping that that's kind of like what happens. But like the hill to climb right now is pretty steep. At least it's not 3-digit player numbers like it was with Concord. So it's like
oh my
like
gosh. At least like everyone's going, oh, there's only 7,000 people playing at 7,000. I was like, well, it works in their favor because they only need 6 people to make a match. We're not talking Battlefield numbers, y'all.
Nah.
We just need something. So I really hope that they plan for this kind of amount of people so that they can keep the lights on and kind of like run the clock until enough people come around for it. Because it's only a matter of time before everybody stops hating it and goes, wait, this was actually really, really sick. It was a sleeper hit of 25, man. You got to go check it out. Or 26. And like 3 years from now, it's going to explode or something.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Like you can never count out a like a surprise resurgence, but right now, unfortunately, now they have a big wall to climb, and I wish. I was really hoping that this was gonna really be Apex Legends again, because let's not forget that thing really hit like wildfire. Like it hit so hard, and despite the fact, because I remember it was like leaked before it was revealed. It was like, oh, apparently Respawn may be doing a battle royale in the Titanfall universe, and everyone was like, that sounds like the most horrible idea ever, because even the leaks included it won't even have Titans, and I remember it was like, how are you doing that in the Titanfall universe? That sounds horrible. And then they revealed it and launched it in the moment, and people started playing. I was like, holy crap, this is actually really good.
Wait,
like,
this is actually amazing.
Yeah, and that one, the only thing that it needed to prove was like people already knew the battle royale concept. It's like this was another battle royale. It just happened to play like Titanfall. Like mechanically,
it was just the best version of a battle royale you've ever played.
This was before Warzone.
Trying to invent an entire mechanic of an entire new genre, essentially.
Yeah, like no, as whatever you said, the character design is not that good when your competition is anime, Gunner bait, and Marvel and Fortnite universe. That too. Like
Marvel, I gotta say that Marvel Rivals is a really heavy competition, but
I mean, the character design,
all of the other ones are pretty much accurate.
Yes, exactly. So that's basically like anything. Final thought on Highguard before we wrap this up?
That's pretty much it. It's actually a decent game. Please go play it. It's literally free, and don't let the internet give you an opinion.
Yes. So Paul, before we leave, since like we used to do in our other podcasts, we tend to talk about the upcoming releases the next few weeks. Until I go back to weekly, like we're gonna be doing like for the next 2 weeks before like we do another check-in. So read us, Paul, the release dates starting from February 1st to February 14th, because yes, February is literally around the corner. So
I know, right?
Take it away.
Isn't that insane?
Yes.
So we got Stars and Island, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, and PC on February 1st. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, Switch, and PC on February 5th. PUBG Blind Spot Early Access on PC February 5th. Man, remember when that was the big battle royale?
Yeah, it's the one that kicked us all off.
Sid Meier's, I know. Sid Meier's Civilization 7 on Mac and iOS on February 5th. Tomb of the Bloodletter PC on February 5th. My Hero Academia All's Justice, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on February 6th. Neo 3, PlayStation 5 and PC February 6th. PGA Tour 2K25, Switch 2 on February 6th. Crystal, Theater of Idols. That one really threw me off.
Dude.
PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and PC on February 10th. What?
I have to say, like Crystal, it's a Bioshock / Resident Evil like a game from like a Spanish
Oh
team
shit.
that I got to see. That's from Bloomhouse, and I got to like talk to the director of that game in Spanish.
Really?
Yeah, we did a Spanish interview over at seasongaming.com. You should go see that because that game was pretty impressive. So continue.
Yeah. All right, good to know. Not to completely change the tone, but Mugenics on PC. I can't take that title seriously. Mugenics on PC of February 10th. Relooted, Xbox Series X and S, PC of February 10th. Romeo is a Dead Man, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC on February 11th. Blaze Blue Entropy Effect X on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC on February 12th. Killer in Early Access on PC. That's the action game.
Yeah, the roguelite in Blaze Blue, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one. So yeah, Killer in Early Access PC on February 12th. Mario Tennis Fever, Switch 2, February 12th. Ride 6, they're still making those. PlayStation 5 series, Xbox Series X and S PC on February 12th. I'm just surprised Ride of all things has survived.
Dude, I remember Ride at Blockbuster.
Ride was crazy. Tomb Raider, iOS and Android, February 12th. Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, PlayStation 4, PC, February 12th. Clue, Murder by Death. That's a weird title. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, Switch, PC on February 13th. High on Life 2 already. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on February 13th. Reanimal, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, PC on February 13th. And lastly, Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and that is on February 13th.
Look, if February now finally starts that feeling like
there's a good amount of stuff that you could find that there's something for just about everybody in this. I know like a lot of people have been excited about that My Hero Academia game, Neo 3 dropping, Blaze Blue had a really high group. Romeo is a Dead Man is people are really hyped.
I need to see because it's like that's from Suda 50 from Suda 51 if I remember correctly.
It's hit or miss, but I heard that he actually had enough time to finish this game as opposed to like
Hotel Barcelona and Hotel Barcelona. That I didn't realize
just like anything he's ever made. Let's face it.
Yes. Again, he's like such Russian roulette. Either you get a Shadows of the Damned or you get something really bad from him. I want to see where this one lands for him. I'm excited for Dragon Quest VII Reimagined for no particular reason.
Not at all.
Yeah, and Crystal, like, kind of something that Rick mentioned, that kind of like the combat was weird, the vibes of Crystal were immaculate. Like and in the demo that I played at SGF, I haven't played the demo they put out. So, Paul, did I lose you? The frick? Did I lose Paul? Yep.
I made a mistake, but it's fine. We're back.
I was like, what happened there? So
I may have accidentally closed Discord, forgetting this was Discord.
That's so funny.
Anyway,
yeah.
Keep going.
So yeah, Crystal, I really want to see. This that you didn't like my opinion. That's why you just laughed. That Blaze Blue Entropy Effect, it being roguelike, it's the thing that makes me apprehensive because I'm kind of like roguelike tired right now, but that thing looked really cool. Mario Tennis Fever, it's a port of the Wii U Mario Tennis. That one was a bad one, so I'm not sure why they're doing that one. Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties. I saw some screenshots. Yes, apparently it's like a bad version what they're doing with Kiwami 3. So
they butchered it. They made it impossible to buy the original, and now you have to buy a $130 version
if you didn't buy it already.
That includes it. And if you didn't buy it already, you have to do that to have the original version.
I already own the original because I bought like that collection that was like pretty cheap. So
but still, man, like anybody who's getting into the series, like to lock that behind it and then make the like updated version even worse looking.
Yeah, it's strange because I'm like, is this finally the time where they just put out too many games and the quality is finally like slipping, because they have not stopped releasing stuff there for Yakuza.
They put out way too much. I've been calling that for a while, and it's only now that it's paying off because usually it's actually decent games apparently, but
they've always been.
I don't know, man. It's
And that's the thing. I bought the PS5 versions of 0, 1, and Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2. I've been like intended to be like, when will I play this? And then I played RE4 and and Final Fantasy VII Remake.
And
So
this
like,
makes me not want to go through the whole series because if I know eventually one of the best ones has like
a bad
a
version.
terrible port,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's not even a port. It's supposed to be like a full remaster /
Mm-hmm.
remake, and it's just not good.
Yeah, kind of like what Rick
I don't
says that
want
you
to
can
play
still
it.
and you can still buy the 3 remaster physically. I don't know if people are gonna be assholes and jack the price up too.
Oh, you
So
absolutely
yeah.
know they're gonna do that. That
Uh,
sucker's gonna be like $300 immediately.
mm-hmm. And Reanimal, I'm very excited to hear how that, because that's technically Little Nightmares. They're real, the Little Nightmares 3. So after Little Nightmares 3 wasn't that good, like for many
Oh, that
people.
wasn't. Wait, why did my turn
They're
off? That
going,
was weird.
yeah, your Discord's going through
I
it
didn't
right
even
now.
do anything. Reanimal, was that the trailer of the person in the zoo and the giraffe turned into a monster, or was that something else entirely?
I don't remember.
That
So
was something else, I think. Anyway,
mhm.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff and something for everybody, I think. But that's I think
Yeah.
that's about it for
And,
us. Let's get off our high horse and
and
go play some.
real quick, something that Rick says. So there's nothing yet to indicate that Kiwami 3 is a bad version, but it certainly looks way oversaturated. Maybe it's bad, but we don't really know yet. I just saw like Max playing the demo. I saw some of the screens that look very Dreamcast like. It was like, this looks like a Dreamcast game. So it's like we'll see. Like we'll see. I know that people are feeling a certain way about Kiwami 3, but it's coming out real soon in a few weeks. But Paul, we've reached the end of the second episode of this bi-weekly experiment we're doing now, as I also stream in between. Where can people find you, good sir?
You can always find me at Dork of Art on Twitter. I every once in a while post me breaking something. I think my last one was RoboCop making some dude fly with a
Dude, with a
headshot.
headshot. Yes, that was awesome.
I don't know why it happened. It's never done it before. It never did it after that moment. But in that room, I got 2 headshots, and they both went flying at 50 miles per hour. It was gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I can find some other funny things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Unity wasn't as funny with all the stuff they were doing. It was just your average Ubisoft thing. So
Yeah.
eventually, I'll find something to break.
If only you had the original version, like patch 1.0 version, like
gosh,
that, like
the amount of things that I could clip.
Yeah.
Oh,
if you had the disc version, you
Anyway.
technically could. But yeah, and then you can find me at you can find me at the Slayer Giant over on Twitter and also on Blue Sky. Obviously, if you're watching this on Twitch, twitch.tv/the Slayer Giant, where I stream at minimum at least 3 times a week. I always aim Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. This time I did Monday and Tuesday because yesterday was my dad's birthday. So, and obviously we're doing Thursdays. We either do the podcast recording and then the next week I also do like an extra stream on Thursday if I have the time. But at least yes, minimum streams Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and if I'm really enjoying a game and I have the time, that's when I add. But those are kind of like the things that I'm doing right now with stream. On top of also showing them here over at youtube.com/the Slayer Giants. So my first review of the year goes live next Monday. Some people know what it is. You may guess based on some comments I made, like what that review may be. That's gonna go live.
Subtle, guys.
Yeah, that review is gonna go live at 10 a.m. on Monday and 7 for Eastern time and 7 a.m. Pacific time. It's just need to finish lock and loading it. But until then, I don't know if I'm gonna stream later today because my sister's visiting. So like, if I do, you'll get your notification if you give us a follow here, both on Twitch and on YouTube. And also, we do have a Discord for the Slayer Giants where we chat it up there. We make fun of we make fun of
share
stuff.
things.
Yeah, I'm putting that, and I'm gonna put a link to that in the both in the description and in the chats for people to join us in over there. So that's it for us today. Thank you so much, everyone that got to tune in to the second episode of the bi-weekly The Ultimate X Bottom podcast. We'll be back for officially. We'll be back 2 weeks. I'm still debating and seeing if we can go back weekly. That's something TBD, but regardless, Paul is always here every other week. So I'll check you guys later. I'll check with you guys later. Thank you so much to everyone that got to tune in and it's gonna tune in to the VOD. So
Press X.
to play.
Good night, everybody.
Hasta la vista, baby.